Hello Year 9s. I wanted to give you a little bit of an explainer of how to do this essay question, this practice exam question. Again, it may feel a bit daunting, but it's doable, and it's a really great way for you and your teachers particularly to see how much you're understanding, whether you're understanding and what you're not understanding about what we're learning so far. So this question, how stable was Germany before 1929? If you've done task 1, 2 and 3, you should have a sense that this section is about stability of Germany before 29, because we know a big turning point is about to hit. For those of you that are looking for spoilers, we know that is the Great Depression. But before then, we need to debate, was Germany actually that stable? Was it in a good state? And there are lots of ways you could answer this question, but it's worth bearing in mind that this is a GCSE style question. And it actually isn't that different to the kinds of essays you've written before and the brilliant essays that you've written before for me and your teachers. So let's give it a go. We need, for a 10 marker, at minimum 2 paragraphs, maximum 3 points paragraphs, with a little mini conclusion. So like I said, minimum 2 points and a little conclusion, maximum 3 points and a little conclusion. I'm going to give you a little tip about how you might want to do this. You see this question, you think, oh, what do I do? Well, you could argue that there's a paragraph to say that Germany was stable, and you give me all the facts, or any of the facts that you think support the argument that Germany was stable. And then you give me a paragraph on arguing that Germany wasn't stable. And again, you give me the points that support that, or any evidence supports that. Little spoiler here, if you've done exercise 3 properly, you will have lots of these to choose from. But I'm going to do it in a bit more of an interesting way. I'm going to answer this question by thinking, well, how stable was Germany before 29? Well, let's break down what we mean by Germany. Let's talk about the politics of Germany, and let's talk about the economics of Germany. And maybe, let's even talk about, I don't know, the society or the international relations of Germany. And again, people that have done task 3 properly will know where I'm going with this. So the first thing I might want to write is, Germany faced problems in their political system before 1929. Okay, so I'm identifying one area already. If we want to make it obvious for your markers in this case aren't stupid, but in the exam they may be. Germany faced problems in their political system before 1929. For example, okay, and now I'm going to pick one off the top of my head, but you could definitely go back to your textbook, your exercise 3, which is here. If you go back to exercise 3, you have a whole list of them. In fact, I've probably got a better version of it to look at here. So exercise 3 has A to R have examples of the political, the economic, the international and the social developments in Germany, and you were asked to divide them up on 2 sides. I didn't even ask you to say whether they're political, economic, social. So you may want to do it in a simple way like this with the 2 sides of the table, but you also may want to do it in the way that I'm doing it. So I'm going to look for an example. I'm going to maybe say during this time, I don't know, I'm going to pick one of myself. So I'm going to talk here a little bit about, for example, in the 1920s, the president of Germany, a former army general by the name of Paul von Hindenburg, was elected despite the fact that he did not support the democracy in Germany and wanted to return the country to a monarchy. Okay, so I've now identified a political problem. Indeed, there were many groups in Germany, such as the Nazi Party, who agreed with him. Maybe I want to go further. In 1923, now if I remember my learning from the last week, it was also in this week's lesson. In 1923, Hitler organised the Munich Putsch, an attempt to overthrow the Weimar Republic, that political system you copied out in part A of democracy, and replace it with a dictatorship. Okay, now you want to link back to the question, as with any good P paragraph. Therefore, politically, before 1929, Germany was in a large sense unstable. Now, I actually think you could make that paragraph better. I'm going to be annoying like that and say that I think you could have a bit of balance in there. Now, actually, I think that mention of Stresemann here, now I'm not going to say what you need to mention about him, but if you've done your reading, you'll know, could give you a bit of balance to that. Now, that's one paragraph. That's a really good paragraph, if I say so myself. And that's exactly what you need to do. But you need at least 2 paragraphs to make the point. So I'm going to talk about Germany faced problems in their international relations before 1929. And I might talk about here Treaty of Versailles. Now, you can write what you need to on that. You could also write Germany faced, and you need to decide, by the way, there did that make them unstable internationally? And Germany faced problems in their economy. And again, you could talk about problems that they faced in the economy. You may want to talk about the mention of hyperinflation that we've looked at a little bit before in previous lessons, as well as this one. You may also want to talk about some unemployment or the repayments of 6.6 billion that were injuring the German economy. Overall, this is the mini conclusion. You don't need a big conclusion. Germany was largely unstable or stable before 1929. And then you might want to say something interesting about a turning point was about to come. However, a turning point was about to come. Now, again, don't just copy my conclusion. You may not have anything interesting to say in the conclusion. That is totally fine. But look, that is what you need to do for a practice exam question. I hope that's useful. I hope that's helpful. And like I say, always, I hope you are well.